Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the broadcast today. I am so pleased to have such an authority on the broadcast. We have with us today Admiral Peter Kikaraeas. This is a former NATO commander that operated in the Mediterranean area. He was also the chief of operational planning for the supreme headquarters of the Allied powers of Europe. Welcome to the broadcast, Admiral Peter Kikaraeas. Thank you.
Good evening, Denice. Thank you very much for having me.
You're so welcome. We're just thrilled to have you, sir. So, there's some developments that aren't even being talked about, whether it be on Fox News or CNN. I haven't heard anyone talk about what we're going to talk about today. And that is the fact that we've got a NATO ally, Turkey, that not only has invaded now Syria because they have said that they needed to root out Kurdish terrorists, but in effect, they're rooting out the Kurdish population there on Syria's border with Turkey. But now, Admiral, we understand that Turkey has signed a memorandum of understanding with one of the 5 governments of Libya. This is an Islamist government that's controlling the capital city of Tripoli in eastern Libya. Apparently, this man, Siraj, has signed an agreement with President Erdogan with respect to controlling the Mediterranean sea lanes for I guess, building up the economy. This is what they say. This is what I've read, that there's an economic zone that reaches from Turkey to Libya, and to strengthen the quote-unquote economic zone, Erdogan, has had one of the presidents of Libya, one of the Islamist governments there in Libya, sign this MOU with Turkey and Istanbul. Would you talk to us about that, please, sir? What's it all about?
Yes, Denice. Turkey actually has been working confidentially since years ago, creating maps and their own exclusive economic zones, following their own kind of, of Turkish law. They call it international law, and I would add Alaturka. This is not international law.
It's Ataturk. In other words, it's Turkey's international law. It's not international law. They're violating international law. Okay.
Exactly. This is what they. Yeah. This is exclusively for Turkey.
Yes.
So what they're trying to do is that since years ago, they created different maps. Which maps? With these maps, they get the most of the Mediterranean, of the seas, and whatever exists under the seas, like fish, like
gasoline,
gas,
petrol,
oil,
right?
Everything,
right? Gas and oil.
They approached the different countries to make something that they did with Libya, an agreement between them, and in this way to find a more international way to say, okay, we agreed with Israel, with Egypt, with Lebanon, with Libya, that this is how we see that we see the EEZ, the exclusive economic zone of our countries here on the seas.
Okay, so but basically,
all the countries did not agree with them.
Right, of course, it's a violation of international law to take control of the areas of the Mediterranean. So, my question I want to ask: has Greece, has Israel, has Cyprus, have they taken this issue up with NATO and with the United Nations?
Oh yes, yes, all of them. And actually, for example, Israel said that this is the formal one. I will read you what the Israeli Foreign Ministry.
The Foreign Minister of Israel. What did he say?
What they said.
Okay.
I read it now. The Israeli Foreign Ministry expressed its full support and solidarity with Greece. Israel reiterates its full support and solidarity with Greece for the maritime zones and its opposition to any attempt to infringe these rights. Israel attaches great importance to its cooperation with Greece, says a statement which also condemns Turkey's actions. Israel is following with concern Turkey's recent moves in the Mediterranean. Ignorance of the standard international maritime rules can endanger peace and stability in the region. This is what Israel said.
And of course, the Mediterranean has a lengthy border with Israel. I also noticed that NATO ally of the United States, the French President Macron, stressed in a news conference at the conclusion of the NATO summit. He said, and again, I'm quoting, bring up that quote, please, Isaac. The president of France, ladies and gentlemen, came up with a statement at the end of the NATO summit saying, Turkey must respect the sovereign rights of NATO member states. Greece, sir, is a member of NATO. And I think that's important that the French president said that it was standing with Greece. Israel has said it's standing with Greece. I know the president of the United States does not support this Islamist government led by Siraj in the capital city. And I thought it was important that Macron said, I support Greece's concerns about the Libyan-Turkish agreement.
Yes.
Are there other leaders? Yes, I'm sorry.
Here in the State Department here, it said that Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, the memorandum of understanding signed by Turkey and Libya on maritime zones in the East Mediterranean is unhelpful and provocative.
Excellent.
The U.S. State Department said on Tuesday.
Excellent. Very good.
The day before yesterday.
Excellent.
So, yes.
So it sounds like NATO, together with Israel, is standing firm against this Turkish encroachment of the Mediterranean. So talk to us real quick. Tell us, what is Turkey's ultimate goal for taking control of these sea lanes so that it can be able to pull up the gas and oil? I mean, I understand Turkey stands to gain quite a bit economically, but, is this about Turkey trying to rebuild the Ottoman Empire? I mean, what is this about?
Oh, yes, exactly. This is a part of the rebuild of the new, Ottoman Empire. This is a part of it.
Okay.
And for example, yesterday I read from different Turkish media.
Okay.
That was so glad, so happy that now we are out in the central Mediterranean again, and we'll see Barbarossa. Barbarossa was a famous Turkish pirate.
Right, I was going to say. Yeah, the wars that we fought against the pirates, they're it's incredible that President Erdogan continues to want to, it sounds like, not only rebuild the Ottoman Empire, but establish a new Islamic caliphate. Your thoughts, sir?
Exactly. You're absolutely right, Denice. And he has said that many times.
Ah, okay. And you're getting this from the Turkish press.
Oh, yes. And
okay.
Actually, when he started with as a mayor in Istanbul, he had said that my nuclear missiles are the minaret of our mosques. And he was calling all the Turkish people to a holy war, recreated the Ottoman Empire and the one caliphate.
He's a true jihadist. He sounds like a true jihadist. Absolutely.
100%.
The minarets are their nuclear missiles. Minarets, exactly. Ladies and gentlemen, sit atop Islamic mosques around the world. So that's what Erdogan is talking about when he talks about the minarets are his nuclear missiles. So basically, it sounds like it's a call to jihadists around the world to fight for Turkey.
Yes, and they created the bases in Somalia also, and they try to become the leaders of the Muslim world, and then all the horizon is open to them, even to get Europe, not only Greece, but Europe, believe me.
Do you know that the Muslim Brotherhood here in the United States is actually calling, I don't know if you read that, I'm sure you have, sir, but I've read reports about how the Muslim Brotherhood is looking to President Erdogan in Turkey as the leader of the Islamic world. Have you read reports about the Muslim? Okay.
Yes, and actually they have the headquarters of the Muslim Brotherhood in Turkey. This is one of the reasons that Sisi, the president of Egypt, is vertically against Erdogan.
Yes, he
is. They don't want to see him. No, not at all.
And isn't it interesting that President Trump has formed a tight alliance with Egypt's al-Sisi? I think that's important. I imagine that al-Sisi, the president of Egypt, and the President Donald Trump, I imagine they've discussed the threat of Turkey to the Middle East. Yes, sir.
Yes, I'm sure, Denice. I'm sure they have discussed. And in my mind, it comes like our president has a plan in his mind.
I'm thinking that too, sir.
Yes.
I think
because he knows he has all this input, so he's working something into his mind, which we don't know yet.
I imagine so, because I was looking, I wanted to revisit the governments that are currently in control. Would you help me, sir, on this and help the audience understand? So there's the government of the National Accord in UN and internationally recognized allies. I believe that is the government that the United States is currently supporting. And then there's the National Salvation Government. I believe that is rooted in Islamism. There's the Islamic State. ISIS is in Libya. ISIS is controlling a part of Libya. There are other parts of Libya that are controlled by local forces, local Islamic militias. Do we have that right, sir? So we have ISIS in control of part of it. We've got this Islamic government that's formed an alliance with Turkey. That's President Siraj that's controlling the capital. And then we've got an allied government that's working with Egypt and the United States and our NATO allies. I mean, what a difficult situation in Libya. And when I think about it, who made that happen but Democrats? That was under the leadership of President Barack Hussein Obama and Hillary Rodham Clinton that had to have that war in Libya. And Libya is now a failed state. And we're seeing that because it's so volatile and vulnerable, that Turkey is now trying to step in and take control. I'll give you the last word, Admiral Kikarias. Where do you think?
Yes, and at this moment we see a strategic asymmetry down in, as you said, as you described right now, in the Mediterranean. And Turkey is trying to take advantage from everything. And its actions are unpredictable, ruthless against international law. I mean, in Libya, we see that now they are, fighting by the side of the Islamists who are losing the fight and the war. And this is why they went and signed this memorandum of understanding with Erdogan, though the parliament of Libya did not agree with that. So it's a mess. It's a real mess down there.
Yes.
And actually down there in Greece now they say, okay, we try to be to keep to be allies with Turkey, but at the same time they say that there is a big crisis and we need to reinforce our defense as soon as possible in order to face any hot incidents or whatever might come from Turkey.
I think it's interesting. I was just reading a piece about Czechoslovakia and the military. I know that's in the Balkans area. I thought it was interesting, Baltic area. I thought it was interesting that the Czech Republic has just signed a deal with Israel Aerospace Industries for an advanced Iron Dome, a missile defense system, in other words. It seems to me that Eastern Europe and places like Greece and Cyprus and Israel, I imagine Italy, we're not even talking about Italy, but Italy is right there in the Mediterranean as well. I'm imagining that all these countries are looking at Turkey, looking at ISIS in Turkey, looking at Libya, looking at Syria, looking at Iran. They must, I wonder if all these nation states don't think that there's a possibility of a hot war in the region. And I want to ask you, as a sort of a tag-on question to that, I'm wondering how this is going to play out between Iran and Turkey, because Iran is a Shiite nation, Turkey is a Sunni. Do you think they might join forces in order to build hegemony together? Or do you think that they might end up fighting and dragging the rest of the world into it?
Well, this is a very good question, Denice, because actually there is not a straightforward answer to that.
Yes, I know.
And the point is that, in history, the different Islamic states, when they had to fight against infidels like all of us, they joined forces.
That's true. Right.
So they might do the same if they see that this is for the best of them.
It's interesting because you look at Russia, and Russia, is supporting Iran and Syria, but Russia also just sold those S-400s to Turkey. It's like Russia and China play both sides.
Yes, but I think that Russia is not going to. Would never like to see Turkey to become a so big, strong.
In the Middle East,
in the Middle East, so strong. No,
absolutely.
No one would like it. Russia would never like it. But put in place his own chess. We don't know, but
okay.
But I don't laugh here. But there are many prophecies, many prophecies down in Greece in the Orthodox Church, and these prophecies.
You mean in the Bible, that are found in the Bible?
In the Bible,
sir.
And they come from prophets since the 1600 up to these years. They say that Turkey is going to be dismantled and will be hit by a blunt big nation. Probably Russia or America, I don't know.
Well,
this is what the prophecy says.
Certainly the United States and our allied forces in World War I actually destroyed and ended the Ottoman Empire. And the caliphate was undone, and so the Turks have been undone and, in effect, nearly destroyed once before. And when the Turks supported the Nazis, as did the other Muslim states in the Middle East, they were defeated as well. So we'll see about that. Admiral Kikarias, thank you so much for your time, insight, and analysis on the Denice Gary Show today. We really appreciate it, and I hope that cold gets better real soon. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Good night. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about Frugatti's Restaurant. This is the best Italian restaurant I've ever been to. It's fabulous. It's right here in California, in the central part of California, what we call Kern County, the San Joaquin Valley. It's here in the city of Bakersfield. It's on Coffee Road, And I want you to go to Fragotti's restaurant and tell the owner, Ralph Rugaletti, you heard all about his restaurant on the Denice Gary Show. I also want to remind everyone, I have an educational foundation. It's called the Middle East Initiative. And we need to hear from you. And as we move into the middle part of December, there's lots of time left to make a tax-deductible contribution to the Denice Gary Show by writing your check or sending a money order to the Middle East Initiative, my 501c3. It's all tax-deductible. Send it to Post Office Box 82162, Bakersfield, California, 93380. And let's go to Annotate's Products and talk about Scott Baker and this former Marine Corps officer that's doing tremendous work for our defense contractors and aerospace companies.
President Trump has correctly stated that economic security is national security, and in the Tehachapi Mountains of Kern County resides a United States defense contractor, Annotate's Products. Here is the Silicon Valley of the aerospace industry, right here in East Kern. Annotate's Products is a forward-leaning manufacturer and distributor of hardware sold to major defense and aerospace companies. We're talking about Boeing, Lockheed Martin, United Technologies, Northrop Grumman, Raytheon General Electric, and on the list goes, as well as to every United States ally worldwide, including Israel, America's most important strategic ally in the Middle East. And for everything that flies, Annotate's Products is providing the parts. And with me today is the president of Annotate's Products, Scott Baker. Hi, Scott.
How you doing?
Scott, tell us why you believe this corner of Kern County is the hub of the aerospace industry.
Well, this portion of Southern California here out in the Antelope Valley, it contains, some of the most cutting edge technology going on in aviation today. We have some of the UCAS programs with unmanned technologies going on. We have Edwards Air Force Base out here who's doing continual testing in their area. We have the Naval Weapons Station up there at China Lake doing some fantastic cutting edge stuff, cruise missile technology, and those things are going on. We have Scale Composites locally doing a lot of composite technology, which is new. We have SpaceX, which is a private one putting a private entity putting things into space now. This area is the growth center for aviation's future, and this is the area I think that as a nation we need to be concentrating some of our effort and taking this technology. And as we all know, with the space program from Apollo years ago, out of these technologies, we the private sector are going to reap some of the benefits of that.
Thank you, Scott. Ladies and gentlemen, Scott Baker, president of Annotate's Products. Annotate's Products, located in the beautiful mountains of Tehachapi, California, in eastern Kern County, is home to some of the most innovative and specialized technologies in the world, including those at the U.S. Naval Air Warfare Center, Weapons Division at China Lake, Edwards Air Force Base, as well as Strata Launch, launching satellites capable of delivering multiple orbits in a single flight to space. And it is Annotate's Products that has provided the manufactured devices, and the president, Scott Baker of Annotate's Products, Marine Corps veteran, reactivated on 9/11 to monitor threats to the homeland, is carrying on a tradition of providing for the security of the United States by manufacturing every kind of fastener on anything that flies, as well as providing a full testing destructive laboratory. Contact Annotate's Products, now in business for 30 years, at 661-822-6873. Located at 1314 Goodrich Drive in Tehachapi for your manufacturing and testing needs today.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Denice Gary Show. I want to again thank all of you for listening. I hope you can make a contribution. We really need to hear from you. This is a great time. It's at the end of the year. You're all thinking about, or at least I know I always think about, what opportunities there are to save money with the IRS. This is an opportunity for you to give to an independent broadcaster, myself, who doesn't have to be controlled by any outlying organization or group. And I appreciate your help. We look forward to being back with you tomorrow. You've been listening to Denice on the Denice Gary Show. Thank you so much.